Let me do a test. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. Can everybody hear me okay? Tomorrow, this is sort of an unconventional way uh, that I like to do things, but I decided to do this for futures because it's so different. And tomorrow we kick off our training for futures. And and so, but I think the bigger picture, for years I've told people. And Jonathan, are you recording this? Do you have YouTube in before I get going real good?
Yes, I am. We are recording, and tomorrow is 25-cent trader futures is on Wednesday, just to be clear to everybody. Tomorrow is 25-cent trader. Wednesday is futures.
You talking about the training tomorrow.
Yes, that's right.
Right. But tonight I'm talking about futures.
Yeah, yeah, okay. Yeah, you mentioned tomorrow you'd have futures education. I just want to make it clear tomorrow is actually 25-cent trader, but Wednesday is when we start the futures.
How do we do on that 25-cent trade since you brought it up?
That GLD 25-cent trade was a great one. It
You
pays
know, it
30
closed
cents.
at 19 cents. I still got a few of those babies.
That's awesome. Yep.
Yeah, that's an awesome trade. Anybody here make that trade before I get going on the 25-cent trade? Barbara did. Eric, he's up 100%. Carolyn took off half at 13, half at 18. That's sort of, I did a third, 13, 18, and I still got some. Dave's got some. Yeah, to find a ticker that fits the criteria, and that's what that class is going to be about, okay? Uh, but there'll be others. So if you missed it, there'll be others. Just be glad you got the opportunity to see it, okay? It's a very valuable strategy. But one of the things that I wanted to do tonight, okay, a lot of people got filled. You got to be ready. You got to be ready. Practice. Plenty of people got filled. Um, but what I wanted to do tonight, because I looked at our schedule and it was pretty packed, and I want to talk a little bit. I want to talk a little bit about futures, but I want to take you back in time. Has anybody ever heard me talk about? I probably got some people that were with me this here about how I caught the crash of 2007 to 2009. Anybody ever heard me talk about that? Edwin was with me, but I'm going to show you a tool tonight. I told Jonathan, I said, Jonathan, I'd really like to show in a tool that I used that was developed way before that time period. And I want to show it to you tonight. It's inside the roadmap. And I want to sort of go from a big picture to the 24-hour market. Okay. Uh, and that's what I want to do. So now let's just look at it if we can. If you look up there, does everybody see the number one across there? It's got the open, high, low, and close. Everybody see that? Does everybody see it? By the way, you know, you can average in the trades. Has anybody ever thought about that? If they get it, it's at 12 cents or 11 cents, and you maybe buy a third or something, and then leave your order work on the other. There's other ways to enter just rather one shot. I don't know if you ever think that way. That's the way I always think. But if you look here at the open, let's focus on it. The open for the month of August is 55.74. Does everybody see that open? John, can you circle it for him? All right, you've heard me talk about the fact we're below that monthly open. And if you look at it and you drew that out on a chart, like a monthly chart, you would see that we opened near the high and never went up. And it was an early sign we were headed lower here in the month of August. Look at the chart next to it. Does everybody see the high we made in July? I want to teach you something here. Everybody see the high we made in July? 57.21. Everybody see that? And so a question you ask yourself is the current month made a new low over the previous month? Does everybody see that? So if you're open-minded the way you have to be as a trader, you say, whoa, this market's not all what it's cut out to be here in August. Hence, the reason I made a couple of nice trades to the short side to kick off the week. Do y'all remember that we had a pocket puts that was basically worthless, that I covered half of it on Friday before that big drop on Monday? You may remember that this week. You got to be asking yourself, how does Tom make these kind of trades? And how am I able to participate? Because you educate yourself, but it's really based on the futures market. The futures market was signaling that on Friday, so I took off the QQQ option, and boy, we got paid big time on Monday, didn't we? For something that was basically worthless coming into the last week of that deal. Does everybody understand the point? How I always say everybody ought to have a futures account or learn about it. This is why, folks, don't find out when everybody else is already out that you should have got out. Now, since 1996, I have never missed a major decline because I use futures. How much is that worth to you? It's worth a lot of money to learn this, isn't it? When you stand back, you might not want to trade futures, but if you've got the knowledge, it's going to help translate into stocks. Correct? Okay. That's the point I'm trying to make here, is that it starts out with that big picture, early sign. Now, Jonathan, I want to go through this year, and then we're going to go to a weekly, okay? But we opened the year, if you go down to, I think it's number 8, right, Jonathan? That's the opening of the year, 48.90 for the S&P.
Yeah, that for this September contract, yeah, that should be the year open right here.
Okay, 48.90. So we open the year at 48.90, okay? And as you see, you can't move that date over to the left up there, can you? It'd make it easier for people to see if you could. I don't know if that slides over to.
Might be able to. Yeah, we can do that.
Oh, yeah, that's a lot easier. That's a lot easier. So if you look at January, you see we opened the year at 48.90. I got bullish in January. If you remember, it was a higher high. Look at January's high versus December. Jonathan, show that to him.
Get my red marker out here.
Yeah. Notice that high in January. See that high? Notice that the low in January was higher than the low. So if you drew that out on a chart, it's no mystery why I was telling everybody to buy in January when you see the numbers on the futures. Does everybody understand this point I'm making? How important it is to follow the futures. You understand the important? I mean, all of a sudden you got a rock and roll city. Now go out to March and you see that we had a high of 53.90. Does everybody see that?
Yeah, 53.80 in March and 53.90 in April.
Yeah. Okay. And then if you go from 51.14 to close of the quarter, by the way, the 51.14 came back into play last Monday, didn't it? Because if you look up at the low, see how that matches up? 51.20, 51.14. fact, that's where I took my pocket puts off from the previous cycle, right there. Smiling Tom. Okay. So now we go into April, we start a new quarter. And you got a 5109. You got a high of 5430, which is higher than the previous high, and you got a 5092. Everybody see that? And notice at the end of April, the close was 5362, where we're basically trading right now, 5362. Then we go into May. May open at 5359, and the high in May was less than the high in June, right? That's what we're on June, was less than the high. No, it's higher than high. There it is, higher than high. I'm trying to find out where your line is, okay? But it's higher high and higher low in June, right, Jonathan?
That's right.
Okay, now let's move to July. A higher opening, a higher high, and a higher low in July. Everybody see that? Because this is going to be important to pay attention. And then we get into August, and this is where the sell signal came. The high of 5574, 5600 first day, and we're down the first day. And down we came. And then we finally came down to 5120. So looking at the view tabular versus to the chart, you shouldn't have been surprised that we were selling off in August. And we're still negative in August. And that's why I'm not so bullish on the market right now for August. Does everybody grasp the concept how the S&P, 75% of all stocks follow the S&P? That's one of the points I'm trying to make. Okay. All right, let's go to a weekly now. Let's look at a weekly. This weekly tells you a lot too. All right, go back to the high of 5721 right there. That high of 5721, it's like number 5, I think, Jonathan. Number 5, right there, 5 weeks ago. That was the high, and follow the low, 5542. And then you had 4 weeks ago, you had a lower low. That was a warning sign if you're trading. And you got the date, that was July 27th, the week of July 22nd. That's when the market gave its warning signs. Everybody see this right there for everybody to see. All right, let's follow it through. Okay, then you had a low of 53.31, another low on the last week of July into August. And then you had your big down move right there on August 5th, where it went down to 51.20. Everybody see that? Notice that the market this week has made a higher high. Does everybody see that? The higher high, 53.96. We made that today. And notice the low today is higher than last week's low. So the market is setting up to correct back up. And Jonathan, didn't you tell me the high and low 5600, 5120 was 5360 was a pivot area?
That's the midpoint of the month. Yep.
So that's where we stand right now, the jury's still out, so we don't know whether to be long or short, do we? And we got big news tomorrow and the next day. But I wanted to show you this feature. I use it all the time. I invented it back in, I think, '06 or '07. And Edwin just typed in, if we break 5721, we're off to the races. Absolutely, we'll be off to the races if we break that number, Edwin. You got it. Showing how to get the table real quick before we leave, because I want to look at another market.
Whatever time frame you're on the chart, like we're on the weekly time frame, but whatever time frame you're on, you can right click, scroll over show, and choose view tabular. Right click, scroll over show, and click on view tabular. It will open up the table here. Again, that's per time frame. So if you want a monthly, make sure you go to the monthly chart and then right click, scroll over show, view tabular. If you want a weekly, same thing, but on the weekly chart, so on and so on.
So tonight I'm showing you the value of futures. I want to keep going here though. The next market I want to look at, Jonathan, let's look at GLD. But before we look at GLD, let's look at the futures.
What time frame do you want to look at?
Let's start out with the year like we did with the other one.
So monthly chart, and we'll view tabular.
Y'all mind me taking this much time showing you these kind of details? Okay. Now, Jonathan, if I go to the first of the year, which is right there, I like the way you got the date in the very first column, number 8. Where did gold open this year?
2166 on this contract.
Okay. And then in February, the high was less than the high for January, right?
That's right.
But in March, it surged, didn't it?
Right. And remember your call mid-February of a low, and that is a low for the year, 2070.
Do you like the fact that I called the low this year on February the 14th? Y'all remember that? How many remember I gave you the low on this? Okay. Edwin said this is worth the expense of the whole class learning this stuff. I told you I was going to teach you. But anyway, I want to come fast forward because I got more to show. But anyway, if you look at May here, right? And you see the May opening is 2365 with a high of, what was that high, Jonathan, in May? I can't read it.
2524.
2524. Okay. And then let's remember that number. If you come forward and you see 2524, and then you got a high of 2537 right there, right? 2537.
Right.
And 22. I would write down those two numbers because if gold goes higher than those two numbers, you're going to see it a lot higher. Now let's jump into GLD and showing how they made money today.
Monthly or intraday? What time frame you want?
Let's start with, if we will, let's start with the week.
Okay, here's a weekly chart of GLD.
Okay. By the way, I got to tell you a funny story. I was thinking I'd really like to show you this, and I said I don't have enough time. I had to do it manually myself, and then all of a sudden I remembered this feature, and I used to have Chuck do this for me all the time. These numbers, because I trade by numbers, right? But if you look at the weekly, okay, let's just look at the weekly. Does everybody see that 225.28 number right there? Everybody see that? Say yes, I see it. If you go back to my 10 tickers, I gave you a breakout number this week. I think it was 226.55. Was that right, Jonathan? Something like that. Yeah, 226.55. So I got long gold today, and it's just getting started because look at that 228.58 or 228.88. Everybody see that? Jonathan, highlight today's high. If you go higher than that tomorrow, I could do another 10-cent trade for Wednesday. And so I'll set an alert at 228.88. So if you missed today, you got another opportunity, I think, tomorrow. I wanted to show you that on GLD. Okay. And you know, if it goes above 25.37, I won't even wait. Write this down. If futures go above 25.37, I will go find a 10-cent option on gold. Write that down. Does everybody hear that number? Futures always lead the stock market. So let me ask you a question. After what I've showed you tonight, do you understand why I'm taking 60 days to teach you stuff about futures? Do you understand where I'm going now? All right, let's go, Jonathan, to the E-mini again and look at the 30-minute chart. Okay, first I want to highlight tonight's reference bar, the high and low. Where is that, Jonathan?
That's a high of 53.73 and a low of 53.69.
Is the high and low tonight? I got high 60, yeah. I got the high 75.75 and the low 68.
Oh, you mentioned of the reference bar, so I give you the
Oh, the
reference.
reference bar. Thank you. Sorry. You're right. I was looking at the high and low. Okay. Where's the low of the reference bar?
69.
All right. Put a view tabular up there. 30 minutes. Okay.
I
John's
think
out of sync.
something, I think, yeah, just looking at that, something's off with the top row, but the rest of
Yeah.
them looks like it should be good.
Yeah. 75.75. If I was short, which I am, if I was short with the E-mini tonight, where would my stop be, Jonathan? Looking at those
Above
numbers.
75.
All right. And I'm below the reference bar, aren't I?
That's right.
So that would be my setup for tonight. I'm doing that trade right now. You see how I use the tools to set that up? And I'll stay short until support. Well, where's support? Today's opening was support. Go down and find 60, wherever today's open was, 64, I think it was.
Come on, Monday's
Right
up.
there, 60, yeah, 65. That's a good target, 65. Right there.
And if we scroll down to the actual open of Monday, we'd see that, but 64 quarter last night.
Yep, I'll take my profits there and say thank you very much. Now, how many people would like to learn to make an average of $100 a night doing that simple exercise I just did. All right, let's go to my slides, and then we'll get into serious training tomorrow, but you understand I am short tonight, okay? All right, there's risks involved in trading. Education about futures is very important to you. I proved that point from a big picture, and past performance is not indicative of future results. Even though in 1996, I got people short. 2001, I got people short. 2007, late in the year, I got people short. 2011, when the government shut down, I got short before they announced it. That was July, I think. Fast forwarding, 2022, I told you to be short. I've told you here in 2024 that I'm short in the month of August. I pretty well carried last 20 years right there with those highlights, okay? Pretty good stuff. In my opinion, learn futures. The reference bar process was originally designed for futures. Every new reference bar creates an opportunity for a possible trade. The beautiful thing about futures, no matter where you live in the world, you can go to that reference bar that we've identified and use these same techniques. That's reference bar 1 tonight. Notice this. When he took a picture, it was on the inside. Now it's broken and turned bearish. Oh, this is the day. You just went through the day. That's reference bar 3. Okay. Prior to this time, we hadn't made a high on the day. After we got to Genesis, the market started selling off. Reference bar 4 was neutral. Average true range has been 122 points. Today, with the news tomorrow, the market's contracting 48 points. I told people patience would pay, and it has. It did today. It will tomorrow. Tomorrow we have PPI on Tuesday, CPI on Wednesday, jobless claims on Thursday. You're going to have volatility creep back into the market. And I would write down a VIX reading of 23. If it goes above that, that's when that volatility is going to hit. Now, I went to a live market. He had that slide in there already. We're doing a little bit backwards. My plan for futures first. Teaching futures between now and October, leading up to our in-person futures class. The classes will be on Wednesday at 10. In October, if you want to come in person, it's $5,000 for the class. But if in October you want to come, we got 2 available. Okay, that's what we got in October. I'm going to do more of these educational classes in the future. I like doing them, and so we do have that scheduled for October 14th and 15th. If anybody takes those slots, let me know where I could quit mentioning it. Okay. Now, here's the deal. This is a deal you can't pass up. $1,000 you got to post. I'm hoping you'll decide to go further with your training. If you do, by September the 1st, okay, if by September the 1st, if you'd like your money back, I'll be glad to do that. If you want to join this, I don't think Barbara's here. I don't know if Jeffrey's here, but send an email. But what I'd like you to do to make sure you're included, if you're interested in taking this deal, Jonathan, we don't have any salespeople here, do we?
It does not look like it.
Well, it must be fat. But anyway, what we're going to do, if anybody's interested, type your name, email, and phone number, and I'll take care of it. Let's do that right now. If you're interested in taking me up on this offer. Just name, email. Yeah, we get your money back if you don't want to come in person, but you can't avoid the training. Buck, it should say October 1. Good point. Everybody understand that? October 1, Jonathan, is what I said. I can't imagine with what I'm going to teach you to want to pass on this deal. But I don't have anybody here other than you can send an email, but put your name, email, and stuff you want to get signed up. Okay? Put your phone number, if you will, Uzi. Marvelous. Will you put your phone number also? Jonathan, will you copy everybody? We'll take care of it ourselves.
Will do.
Is that 803? Marvelous. 803. This is a chance for you to learn a lot more than I showed you in this brief time tonight. So I wanted to do this. I think this will be the last time I mention it. So this is sort of like the gates closing. Yeah, put your name, David, and email in there. We'll make sure you're included. Dave, what do you think about the way I'm doing this as far as people being able to really learn a lot, not costing a thing? Pretty fair, don't you think? Yep, I'll teach you how to use bracket orders too. Well, I did my very best to convince you you'd be smart to do the training. I don't think I can do any better. We're going to close this down, okay? We're going to close this down, okay? Uh, Here's a question I'd be at. Tom, will we do live trading? Of course. Will I have a chance to add to that $1,000? Absolutely. I just thought it was a fair way. I don't want to do it unless you're serious about trading, and that shows me you're serious about learning. So that's why I did it this way. It's a lot of work, but I'm going to do it. I like doing it. Edwin, do you know anybody else? Yeah, Rob, if you when you come in person, if you want to come in person next year when I have a class, or if you come this year, we'll give you a hotel recommendation. Absolutely. A lot of people stay at the Marriott. That's close by. Ponte Vedra Beach, Florida. But again, take the training, take the training, decide by October 1 if it's for you or not. At least with the training, You will have an insurance policy. You will have an insurance policy against what's going to happen. Yeah, Dave's been there face to face. All right, so any last minute questions for me? I want to wrap it up. This is what I've accomplished my objective, give everybody an opportunity. We've got a big crowd. All you had to do is put your name and email. Nobody else can see your name and email, by the way. I need to say that, I guess. Okay? Yeah, type your name, email, and phone number. Jonathan will copy it. Me and him will handle it from here. You'll be contacted, get you set up for Wednesday. Okay. Hey, Sam. Join Sam. All right, Delbert, we got you. Get Delbert's number. All right, Jonathan, that's it. I think we did the best we could to try to, sort of like the following. There's Judy. We'll stay a little bit longer as long as you keep typing your names and emails where you get included. Jonathan, you got Judy, right?
Do now. Thanks, Judy.
You got Rosie. Yeah, Jim, I'm gonna do online sessions until October 1. No problem, Laura. I'll put out a schedule. I'm gonna work on my schedule tomorrow, by the way, into next year. I got to get it done. Everybody can do some planning. No, I still got my pocket puts. They expire in October. All right, Jonathan, I think that was worth those people giving an opportunity for Wednesday's training. Give us time to get it set up. Thank you.